world were bred. Did other fellows dream of horses the way he did? To him a horse was the greatest animal in the world. Then one day the Drake headed for a small Arabian port. As they approached the small landing, Alec saw a crowd of Arabs milling about in great excitement. Obviously it was not often that a boat stopped there. But as the gangplank went down with a bang, Alec could see that it wasn't the ship itself that was attracting all the attention. The Arabs were crowding toward the center of the landing. Alec heard a whistle, shrill, loud, clear, unlike anything he had ever heard before. He saw a mighty black horse rear on its hind legs, its forelegs striking out into the air. A white scarf was tied across its eyes. The crowd broke and ran. White lather ran from the horse's body. His mouth was open, his teeth bared. He was a giant of a horse, glistening black, too big to be pure Arabian. His mane was like a crest, mounting, then falling low. His neck was long and slender, and arched to the small, savagely beautiful head. The head was that of the wildest of all wild creatures, a stallion born wild. And it was beautiful, savage, splendid. A stallion with a wonderful physical perfection that matched his savage, ruthless spirit. Once again the black screamed and rose on his hind legs. Alec could hardly believe his eyes and ears. A stallion, a wild stallion, unbroken, such as he had read and dreamed about. 2 ropes led from the halter on the horse's head, and 4 men were attempting to pull the stallion toward the gangplank. They were going to put him on the ship. Alec saw a dark-skinned man wearing European dress and a high white turban giving directions. In his hand he held a whip. He gave his orders tersely in Arabic. Suddenly he walked to the rear of the horse and let the hard whip fall on the black's hindquarters. The stallion bolted so fast that he struck one of the Arabs holding the rope. Down the man went, and lay still. The black snorted and plunged. If ever Alec saw hate expressed by a horse, he saw it then. They had him halfway up the plank. Alec wondered where they would put him if they ever did succeed in getting him on the boat. Then he was on. Alec saw Captain Watson waving his arms frantically, motioning and shouting for the men to pull the stallion toward the stern. The boy followed at a safe distance. Now he saw the makeshift stall into which they were attempting to get the black. It had once been a good-sized cabin. The Drake had little accommodation for transporting animals. Its hold was already heavily laden with cargo. Finally they had the horse in front of the stall. One of the men clambered to the top of the cabin, reached down and pulled the scarf away from the stallion's eyes. At the same time, the dark-skinned man again hit the horse on the hindquarters, and he bolted inside. Alec thought the stall would never be strong enough to hold him. The stallion tore into the wood and sent it flying. Thunder rolled from under his hoofs. His powerful legs crashed into the sides of the cabin. His wild, shrill, high-pitched whistle filled the air. Alec felt a deep pity steal over him, for here was a wild stallion, used to the open range, imprisoned in a stall in which he was hardly able to turn. Captain Watson was conversing angrily with the dark-skinned man. The captain had probably never expected to ship a cargo such as this. Then the man pulled a thick wallet from inside his coat. He counted the bills off and handed them to the captain. Captain Watson looked at the bills and then at the stall. He took the money, shrugged his shoulders, and walked away. The dark-skinned man gathered the Arabs who had helped bring the stallion aboard, gave them bills from his wallet, and they departed down the gangplank. Soon the Drake was again under way. Alec gazed back at the port, watching the group gathered around the inert form of the Arab who had gone down under the black's mighty hoofs. Then he turned to the stall. The dark-skinned man had gone to his cabin, and only the excited passengers were standing around outside the stall. The black horse was still fighting madly inside. The days that followed were hectic ones.